Well, for every day of Donald Trump's almost 78 years of life, FBI agents have carried guns everywhere they go. But Donald Trump is now pretending that he didn't know that. No one insults the intelligence of Trump voters more than Donald Trump. And I am sure that most voters who vote for Donald Trump are smarter than Donald Trump. And they vote for Donald Trump simply because they hate taxes as much as he does, or they think abortion is murder. But the people who send money to Trump, who are a tiny, tiny percentage of Trump voters, really must be every bit as stupid as Donald Trump insists that they are. Because today, Donald Trump is raising money from those poor people who should know better but don't by sending an email saying, "Breaking from Trump, Biden's DOJ was authorized to shoot me!" Exclamation point. It's just been revealed that Biden's DOJ was authorized to use deadly force for their despicable raid in Mar-a-Lago. You know, they're just itching to do the unthinkable. Joe Biden was locked and loaded, ready to take me out and put my family in danger. Okay. None of the dangerously stupid people who send money to Donald Trump in response to that email know that the FBI scheduled the serving of the search warrant at that Florida location when they knew for a fact that no one named Trump was actually there. They did it in the summer when Trumps are thousands of miles away in cooler climates, in Donald Trump's case, in New Jersey. Donald Trump told those lies about deadly force to his stupidest supporters because this standard piece of paper right here, this piece of paper, was attached to the filings for the search warrant that the FBI executed, through which they found Donald Trump in criminal possession of classified documents at his Florida home. This piece of paper is the FBI's policy statement on the use of deadly force. This piece of paper is part of the filings of every search warrant obtained by the FBI. That means this very same piece of paper was in the filings in the search warrant that the FBI executed at Joe Biden's summer home in the FBI's investigation of Joe Biden's possible possession of classified material, an investigation with which Joe Biden fully cooperated from the start and was found to have done nothing wrong. Now, those poor Trump voters who send money to Donald Trump because of things like this piece of paper will never know that that same piece of paper was in the Joe Biden search warrant file. And this piece of paper is simply a recitation of the FBI rules on the use of deadly force. In the early decades of the FBI, they didn't have any rules on the use of deadly force. Police forces didn't either. When I wrote a book about police use of deadly force in the 1980s, most American police departments then did not have a rule about police use of deadly force. But now almost all police departments have a rule that is virtually identical to this FBI rule. This list of rules tells FBI agents not to fire at moving vehicles, as do most police department rules on deadly force. It prohibits warning shots. The very first rule listed says deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. That rule was forced on the FBI and on all American police departments by a Supreme Court decision in 1985. So that's all this piece of paper is. The FBI rules and restrictions on the use of deadly force, which is part of the filing of every FBI search warrant. The very next page of the filings for this search warrant specifically indicates that Donald Trump would not be at that location when the search warrant is executed. And so, no one changed the rules that day so that the FBI agents could just shoot Donald Trump. But Donald Trump knows that he has some supporters, a tiny group of them, who are so hopelessly stupid, he can tell them that the FBI, quote, was authorized to shoot me, and they'll believe it. Not only will they believe it, they will send him money They will send money to the man who told them when he began running for president that he was so rich he would never ask for anyone's money. Now think about the layers of stupidity that are right there, the layers of stupidity it takes to respond to that Donald Trump email and send him money. That is the money Donald Trump uses to pay his criminal defense lawyers who assembled in Florida today for hearings in the courtroom of Donald Trump's favorite judge, the one he appointed, Aileen Mercedes Cannon, who once again cast herself in the role of federal judge who forgot to go to law school, which would be funny if the stakes weren't what they are. Judge Cannon had hearings on issues that most other federal judges could handle without even having a hearing. Judge Cannon does everything she can to appear, at least, to be a functioning ally of Donald Trump's in the Trump attempt to delay his trial for violations of the Espionage Act and illegal possession of classified material until long after the presidential election. Judge Cannon's first hearing of the day today was on Trump co-defendant Walt Nauta's motion to dismiss the case against him, saying it was a selective prosecution because not everyone who moved boxes for Donald Trump was charged with a crime. Walt Nauta's lawyer neglected to mention that not everyone who moved boxes lied to the FBI about moving boxes for Donald Trump. The second hearing Judge Cannon held was on a motion by both Donald Trump and Walt Nauta to dismiss the case, claiming alleged procedural failures in the indictment. Desperate criminal defense lawyers file motions like this all the time, but rarely are they granted significant amounts of time by the court to argue those motions and slow down progress toward a trial. Judge Beryl Howell presided over the Washington, D.C. grand jury that Special Prosecutor Jack Smith used for most of his investigation of Donald Trump's violations of the Espionage Act and illegal possession of classified documents. This week, an opinion by Judge Howell granting Jack Smith the right to subpoena a lawyer who worked for Donald Trump on that case was unsealed, with the name of the lawyer redacted and a few other redactions in it. And that opinion justifies an exception to the attorney-client privilege and allows that testimony by the lawyer. Judge Howell found, quote, strong evidence that the former president intended to hide boxes from his attorney's search efforts to comply with the grand jury subpoena and resultantly unlawfully to retain any classified documents contained inside of the boxes purposely removed from the attorney's search. Judge Howell noted that Trump defense attorneys discovered 4 documents marked classified in Donald Trump's bedroom after the FBI served their search warrant. The judge wrote, quote, notably, no excuse is provided as to how the former president could miss the classified marked documents found in his own bedroom at Mar-a-Lago. Instead, the government has provided evidence to demonstrate that the full arc of the criminal violation had already concluded more than 6 months before this search of Mar-a-Lago, when the evidence demonstrates that the former president intentionally failed to provide all of the classified documents in his possession to the government with the June 3rd, 2022 certification. Judge Howell described what happened when Donald Trump must have realized that security camera video would show the boxes being moved, quote, after a phone call with the former president and on the same day as service of the government's subpoena for Mar-a-Lago security footage from the area around the storage room. Walt Nauta rearranged his travel to fly to West Palm Beach the following day, falsely telling his colleagues that the change in plans was for personal reasons. Within 2 hours of landing in Florida, Walt Nauta and a witness entered the storage room, and a witness can be seen gesturing toward the camera. This scramble to Mar-a-Lago in the wake of the June 24th, 2022 phone call reflects the former president's realization that the removal of the boxes from the storage room before search was captured on camera, and his attempts to ensure that any subsequent movement of the boxes back to the storage room could occur off camera. This theory draws support from the curious absence of any video footage showing the return of the remaining boxes to the storage room, which necessarily occurred at some point between June 3rd, 2022, when the room had approximately X number of boxes, according to FBI agents, and the execution of the search warrant on August 8th, 2022, when the agents counted 73 boxes. Newly unsealed photographs of Donald Trump's co-defendant, Walt Nauta, show Walt Nauta moving boxes after those boxes were under subpoena. That's the equivalent of bank video showing you the bank robber at work. Those are the images Donald Trump allegedly tried to have erased from the security camera video